Don't do it. This card is not good.
Hey, you're just the announcer. You're not supposed to give away what I think about this card.
This card is pure trash.
Oh, don't you think that's a little harsh?
No.
Not funny.
All right, so let's get into this this review. Well, our preview. So, Elixir.
Trash.
So, thank you for listening, and until next time. Talk about a stinker. Don't take my word for it. Take Second Dinner themselves' word for it. If you look at the developers update video, they usually show something neat or cool or some synergy for the card that they're debuting, right? They do it for all 4 of the new cards. With Elixir, what they showed is him bringing back a card that had been Shang-Chi'd. You don't play Shang-Chi on turn 4 or 5 99% of the games. 1% of the time you play Shang-Chi on turns 4 or 5. The 99% time you play him on turn 6. Elixir says one of your cards destroyed last turn gets revived here.
Trash.
What they showed in the video, him bringing back Shang-Chi, was presumably one of the better use cases for him. And that use case just will not happen. So, if this is supposed to be a Shang-Chi defense card, as Second Dinner showed, good luck. So, I'm just at a loss. So yes, this card has got to be the worst card this month, by far. And later, after I get through the decks, I will talk about ideas of things they could do to buff the card. But you typically want cards that aren't just defense. You want to be able to use them offensively to some capacity. Even Cosmo can be used offensively. With Fenris Wolf, kind of, sorta, you could even say Shang-Chi and Gladiator can be used offensively. Even though Shang-Chi, because he's a defensive card, but with Fenris you can bring back that card and that's now on offense for you. But with Elixir, yeesh, this is straight
Trash.
This channel is trash.
The recap on Prodigy is I was probably a tad bit too harsh. The comments for that video illuminated that to me before his release. And now after his release, I'm seeing a bunch of different varied applications. That said, it's still not a card I will be getting. This really feels like a Series 4 type card where there's a lot of interesting uses. I would love to be able to play around with it. But at Series 5, with that extra token cost, it just doesn't interest me enough because there still is a bit of awkwardness in how you need to play and make sure you have the right cards and synergies and positioning, which can get a little bit troublesome. So ultimately, it's a card I still won't be getting, but if you did end up getting Prodigy, or if you decide to get him, there will be some uses, there will be some decks you can use with him, but overall, I think he's just a meh card and not trash, like I was saying earlier. But that said, I still don't think it's good enough for me to get, but if you're interested, knock yourself out. Now let's move on to the Elixir decks. So all these theory crafted decks follow the same kind of thought plan, which is being able to resurrect cards that you yourself destroyed. So with Elixir in Series 2, we have access to Carnage and Deathlock. Being able to resurrect, let's say, Medusa, or a Rocket Raccoon, or even an Ironheart or a White Queen can be valuable. Even something like an Enchantress, potentially. You can Enchantress 2 different lanes, and you can't really destroy a 5 cost and bring it back because it's the last turn. So 4 cost is, in most games, going to be the highest cost you're able to bring back with Elixir, because on turn 5 you do the destroy, on turn 6 you play Elixir. So that is the Series 2 version, but if you are Series 2, just stay away from Elixir. For the Series 3 version, we are going with a riff on a deck that I made a few months back, a negative destroy deck. So this has a couple of different avenues. Of course, it's the regular Mr. Sinister line, where you can do Iron Man, Arnim Zola, Null shenanigans with Mystique. You can destroy some of those cards with Venom or Carnage, bring it back with Elixir. This deck has magic in it, so therefore that's why you can destroy a Black Panther, which is 5 cost, because on turn 6 you could destroy him, and then on turn 7 you can play Elixir to bring him back. Also, that works fantastic with a Zola, so you could play Black Panther, Arnim Zola, and then Elixir that. You have Wong in here to potentially double up on Elixir, so if you destroy a Wong and Black Panther, you can play Elixir, and well, that's just winning more of a single lane. So I don't know how much that makes sense with Elixir, but you have backup plans here: the Wong, Black Panther, Arnim Zola path. You have the Mr. Negative path. You have potentially a Zola and Elixir path, and yeah, that's kind of the idea behind the Series 3 version. So this version, while many people may end up going toward mill style decks, I cannot contribute to that. And mill is annoying, and honestly, I have yet to see it be really good. It has its spots when it gets more popularity, but it's never been a really good deck with any amount of staying power, which is why it just comes and goes. So I assume with Elixir, you'll see a bump up with mill decks, and then when people realize how bad it is, it'll go away again. So this deck is really leaning heavily into Joaquin Torres Falcon with the Hood's Demons, and Firehair, just getting a ton of demons in your hand with Black Swan. Killmonger is in here to re-trigger Firehair and the Hood. Falcon is here to pick up any 1-cost cards you may need to. Enchantress is just the tech card of choice. Sasquatch, if you're playing a bunch of cards on turn 5, Sasquatch you can get pretty cheap in this deck. It's also worth noting that maybe you want to run something like Death with Killmonger, but there's not too many 1-costs in here that you want to destroy. You're really leaning on the demons, and the Elixir is just able to bring back either a Rocket Raccoon or a Hood that got destroyed. And so that's the general idea with this deck, but like we've covered, I don't think Elixir will be good in any type of deck, so you probably should just stay away. No suspense this week. Elixir is just a hard pass by me. I don't see how this card is good in any capacity. It would be absolutely shocking. What I'm anticipating is you'll see a lot of YouTube videos, more than not, that are saying Elixir stay away or Elixir bad card, even the reviews after it gets released. Because I don't even know if you could hype up. There might be some YouTubers, of course, that do the clickbait type stuff, but because it's so kind of awkward, this card started as a 1/1 activate, and cards destroyed this turn get revived. That is super powerful. So I can see why they went this direction, but this direction is just the 180 of where it was. And so there's got to be some kind of middle ground that they can find with this card, whether it's a 3/3 activate or a 1 or 2/3 cards destroyed this turn get revived. Then at least it would be a decent Shang-Chi counter if you didn't have priority on that last turn. But as it stands now, this card just, the effect is not good because it just says cards destroyed last turn. Even if it was just cards destroyed gets revived here, then it just takes something from the entire game. That would be usable in a lower capacity, kind of like how when you use Fenris with Gladiator, you're not trying to get some superpower thing, but you're getting something back. And so Elixir just is not that. It really is shaping up to be the weakest card of the past 2-3 seasons, up there with potentially Red Wing and original Bruce Banner. Both of those cards got buffed. Hopefully we will see Elixir get buffed with one of the suggestions I have put forth, but as it stands now, this card just in no way, shape, or form is good, and dare I say, it is even
trash.
Thanks to all the members of the channel, and thank you to everybody that watches this deep into the videos. These preview videos do less views than my deck videos, but even still, the channel is growing. I have nothing to complain about, and everything is fantastic. So thank you. It's all thanks to you all. People are going to ask me about the synergy with Phoenix Force because I am a huge Phoenix Force fan. I fully inked out with matte black borders my Phoenix Force deck, so you might see that soon, just so I can show that off. But I don't see any type of synergy with Phoenix Force because both of these cards revive cards, which means they are no longer destroyed, which means they have active anti-synergy with each other. You can use one or the other. Unless you're destroying two cards, then you get them both back, but then it's random from the first one you use, but you know the second one. So, or it could be an either or. There are decks like that where if I don't draw my Phoenix Force, I can revive it with Elixir. But you're destroying move cards, so then you would want a move-centric package to work with the Elixir path. But with Phoenix Force, you don't quite need that. You need some destroy cards. That's why I always pair that deck with Nimrod, because there's natural overlap there. So I don't see any type of synergy in Phoenix Force, despite people probably trying that out. It would probably be mostly in mill type decks is where we're going to see Elixir, but I'm still not a believer in Elixir, even in those decks. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I don't see how you could disagree with me, but please try to change my mind, because I do not think highly of this card. Otherwise, until next time. But before we get to Elixir's decks, let's talk about... But before we get to Elixir's decks, let's talk... But before we get to Elixir's decks, let's talk... Lex Luthor?
This channel is trash.